welcome back to my favorite podcast, everybody's favorite podcast, nobody's least favorite podcast. This is the Everything and Nothing podcast starring your boys. You got the returning me. My name is Mike. Missed being here last week. Wanted to say shout out to the boys for having a wonderful episode without me. Y'all are incredible. The fact that y'all did a draft without me, not so incredible, but we'll take that as we go. With me, the people that I'm speaking to are three of my best friends and the most wonderful co-hosts I could ask for. If you look at the top right corner of the picture that you see when you listen to this podcast, you will see the one who led the ship last week, the one who did a really good job doing so, and one that I'm going to clap it up for doing such a wonderful job. You got Brandon.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but no one could hear that clap, so I hope you.
I didn't think they could or not because Zoom is really good with their like noise canceling technology. Just know that I clapped.
Yeah, you can add a round of applause back here, editor. Wow, wow. Thank you. You're far too kind. I appreciate the kind words. I think, as I said in the last episode, the main event. They call me Main Event Brand. Yes, a new nickname was born today.
The name that they call you as of right now.
Yes. Yeah. So glad I could do it. A little bit of revenge. It was a good episode. And yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Mike. I just wish we could do more drafts, but yeah, we know that's not gonna work.
Because of who?
You.
No, because of you. As the people may not know, we talked before we record. I offered drafts today, and Brandon said that he is now allergic to doing drafts.
As I said in the last episode, this man will try to feed you lies. Here we are.
All
predictable
right,
as always.
All right, what I'm gonna do is next time I propose a draft, I'm gonna record a voice memo on my phone. So my phone will have evidence for the fact that Brandon is always solely the person turning them down.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. Real quick. One, was our drafts ever posted?
We've had some drafted, some posted.
No, I mean the one we just did.
Oh no. And who was that on? The people who did the draft, or that's not a rhetorical question.
That's a host. I was like leading the charge, because there's only so much I can do. I'm not Superman out here.
You're not Superman, Brand. That's not
exactly.
one of the nicknames.
I'm not Superman, Brand. That's not one of my nicknames. Yeah. So yeah, it's good to be back, people. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad you're listening. Hello, how you doing? Fellow friend of Jalen's that listens. Hello, how you doing? I was listening back to our podcast yesterday, and I realized I may have sounded a little mean. I was listening. I was like, that was me. And I didn't mean it like that, fellow viewer. I just want to hear what you have to say. That's all. That's all I want. That's all we need. That's all we crave. That's all I crave. Hope you have a beautiful day.
And with that, we will continue on this lovely picture of ours. Now you can look at the bottom left corner. You can see the one that apparently receives the feedback. You got Jalen.
What's up, everybody? Glad to be back for another episode. I don't know. I think I have one thing I want to say, kind of enlightening, that I just thought about today, and it's that perspective and expectations shape your happiness.
Unless your happiness
that's all I'm
is defined by money. I actually like that a lot. But moving on to the bottom right-hand corner, this is like arguably the quickest we've gotten through intros. If you take a look at that picture in that position that I just mentioned, you will see another person who made the last episode, most of our episodes actually, incredibly great. You got Kyle.
Ring, ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring. You have been forwarded to an automatic voice messaging system. Beep.
Hey Kyle, it's time to podcast. So if you would like to show up, that'd be great. If you like to answer the phone, that'd be great. Um, Other than that, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later.
Oh boy.
Bye now.
And then I'm gonna call Mike back.
Ring, 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 ring,
The fuck is
ring, 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 ring. You have been forwarded to an automatic voice messaging system. Please leave your message after the tone. Beep.
Hey Mike, it's Kyle. I think we're playing a little phone tag. I think I miss you. I miss you, and then that seems like maybe you miss me, I miss you, but I don't know. Hit me back. Bye. Hey everybody.
Oh my goodness. If you enjoy our random little banters that and rants that we go on in segments that I don't even expect to happen, you can find us on our social media. You can find us on Instagram at _ everything and nothing pod _ You can find us on Facebook at the same thing without the underscores. You can find us on Twitter at E&N Show. That is EANDN Show. Or you can find us on our email, our booming, bustling, overwhelming email, everythingnothing_show@gmail.com. And those are incredible. Those are especially important today because we're going to be doing a mailbag a little later. So if you enjoy the questions that are asked or our answers to said questions, we highly encourage you add questions to them as well, so we can potentially answer them on the show. When I was reading off, or when I was saying the social media, it made me think back to the fact that nobody knew it last episode. And I don't know if that's my fault or all of ours, but
Well, it's
We need a
definitely your fault.
script. We need the infrastructure.
all right, I can write a script for this.
I would, I think it's your fault personally.
Of course you do.
What do you mean you asked?
Of course you do. Um, but getting back on that draft thing for one last second, it's crazy how excited you were to do it last week. But I say let's do a draft, and you don't seem as enthused these days. Why?
I don't know, drafted out.
Mm,
That last one
you,
took a lot out of me.
you heard it here, folks. But so we're going to kind of switch up the format. I don't know if we have like a specific format for where Media Corner goes, but we're actually going to start with that today. And this week is my week because I called it. And I had a couple different things that I wanted to talk about. I was asking myself, should I come with a video game? Should I come with a book? Should I come with something that's a current event? And ultimately I landed on book. So I would like to call attention to a wonderful book that I read, I think about a year and a half ago, called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. One of my favorite books ever, especially from the specific time that I read it, because at that point I was 1 foot out of the door in this country and about to go to Australia. And the book fit me perfectly. It is about a man who meets a fortune teller who tells this person that their fortune, their life's fortune, not necessarily money, can be found in Egypt. So he was hell bent on making it there to realize whatever his personal treasure was. And on the way, so much of life happened that they never would have expected. And they found a lot of happiness in those random things that did not necessarily pertain to said treasure. And for me, that book meant a lot because at that time I was on my way to honestly, looking back at it in hindsight right now, it felt really contextual to my life. Thinking of Australia as the place I need to be, like I very much felt like my personal treasure was to be had there. And then on the way to that, I meet Rachel and she flipped my whole world upside down in the best way possible. And I find a lot of the things that as a kid I told myself I'm going to have this, I'm going to have that. A lot of that pertained to a healthy relationship. A lot of that pertained to a person that I can build a strong family with. And I see the starts of that in her, and I see a lot of those things that I've always wanted as a constant in my life. I see all of that being something that can be realized with her. So that book definitely feels a bit relatable for me. Um, Kyle, Brandon, I don't know if you read it. I mean, not Kyle, but Brandon, Jalen, I don't know if you read it, but Kyle, I think you did.
I did. I read it more recently, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good. It reminded me of Siddhartha, which is like a similar story of a young man who goes on a journey and kind of finds not only like I guess finds treasure, but not what you thought it would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, that book was everything. Jalen, it is a really easy read too. It's not a long book. It's not a book where the pages are like super compact with a bunch of words and things like that. For those who are physical readers,
It's like size 14, size 16 font. Like
yeah,
it's like 80 pages or something like that, 100 something pages.
it's
not.
it's not a long book
Yeah.
at all. It's a
I
very
read it
easy
in a
read.
couple days, few days.
So yeah, highly recommend that. Brandon, you're more an audiobook person, so I highly recommend you listen to it. Fantastic book by a fantastic author. And then Brandon, some irrelevant, but I told you about the follow up to the 5 people you meet in heaven, right? That is also a really, really, really good book. If you, yeah, I'll say if you loved 5 people you meet in heaven, you will also really like this one.
I don't remember much about it, to be honest, anymore, but I do remember liking it.
I still remember a lot about that one. I don't remember as much about Tuesdays with Maury, but I remember that one being really good too. Mitch Albom is a crazy author. He is so good. But yeah, having a topic for Media Corner that half the hosts have not partaken in, there's not really much more I can add. I just know that that is a book that it won't necessarily transform your life, but it'll make you think about the things in your life, like makes you wonder, like, what is your personal treasure? And are you taking steps to realize that personal treasure for yourself, whatever that may be? There's not somebody who can come around and tell you, like, oh, yeah, yours is in Cambodia. Like, nobody can tell you what it is or where in the most realistic of worlds. But for me, the advice I can give there is follow those constants that have been there in your life. What is something that you've always wanted from being young to now? And for me, that's always been a loving wife. It's always been beautiful kids that I can raise and just help them find their way in the world. And yeah, it's just
No
honestly,
ugly kids.
I mean, if they're ugly, they're ugly. But like,
You know they will be.
fuck that. me and Rachel about to have some cute ass kids. You playing games?
Look, man, it was easy. Look, the ball was already in the air above the rim. I just had to put it down.
All you had to do was just dunk it in real quick. So I'll give you that. Man, there are so many roads in this life, and Brandon's always quick to take the easy one. You know him.
Yes, sir. Look, I take the easy one because I've been always taking the hardest one for most of my life. So
yeah,
I deserve a little bit.
My man's Brandon don't do homework no more. That's dead.
Nah, fuck all that.
Oh man. But
I mean,
yeah.
I think the purpose of like the media corner is, especially if we haven't listened to it, is to convince us and other people that are listening to do or listen or watch those things. So I think he did that.
Cool.
Will I listen to it? I don't know.
Yeah, but that's a hard maybe. If I bought it for you, would you listen to it?
I'd appreciate it if you asked me first.
If I ask you to buy you a book,
he's asking you right now.
I am asking you.
Bro, don't give me responsibilities. I got enough of that work.
I mean, it's not like I'm about to be like, "Hey, yo, listen
Responsibilities?
to this book and write me a book report." Like, it's not about to get that crazy.
And they said it was only 100 pages. That's manageable.
And if it's an
Is it-
audiobook, you're looking like
is it Jalen?
Yes.
Like,
I just wrote the name of the book down so I could see if it's on that Libby app you were telling me about.
is it called Full Metal Alchemist?
No, The Alchemist.
I'd love to read that book.
Yeah, just pick up the manga. Like,
Ooh, pictures. I love
yeah.
people.
That's all I got from my media corner today. There were a couple things I thought of doing after everything Brandon said about the off season on the last episode. I was really about to come in and break that album down, and I was like, that needs an episode. I ain't got time for that in like 10, 15 minutes.
God.
But yeah, you wildin'. That was my biggest takeaway. And then Jalen, a response to y'all talking about Black's album last week. I did go back and give it a re-listen, and I do feel better about it the second time around than I did the first. And I do agree. I don't agree with the fact that you said it takes 4 times to really get everything an album has to give. But I could concede 3. I do think by like the third time
That's
you
fair.
listen to an album, you know everything you actually feel about that album.
That's fair.
That's how I felt about Mac Ayers.
Comfortable enough?
Yeah, because at first I wasn't sure how I felt about it. But by the second time, I was like, oh, yeah, he in his bag.
Yeah, I find like a lot of times when I'm listening to the album for the first time, I'm like doing something else.
Yeah.
So I never fully am listening like with close attention. So I got to re-listen a couple more times
to catch all those other things. Yeah, I feel that.
Oh, yeah, I feel like I usually love albums way more when I'm driving.
And honestly, I can agree with that.
Especially Mac Ayers at night. Whew.
Yeah, that's just a vibe. And then Mac Ayers is also a cleaning vibe, like Kyle said last week.
Yeah.
Very much
cleaning the house.
I do want to reiterate that's not all. Like,
but that is prime though. Prime Mac Ayers.
I don't know about that, bro. I can't.
My man's Kyle go to that Mac Ayers concert. You got to clean up the venue while he listens. You're like, this is a crazy concert.
Are you done with that? Can I
you want to go to a Mac Ayers concert with me?
What? Want to go to a Mac Ayers concert with you?
Yeah, it's May 6th.
Where is it? May 6th? What day of the week is that?
Let's see.
I'm just looking at my handy dandy iPhone, and May 6th is a Saturday.
Well, it's likely that I will be working.
So he's just going to be listening to the album while he's working.
I mean, I actually prefer just listening to the album rather than going to visit some concert.
Really?
Yeah.
It depends who it is for me, because some people I feel like their album shines better in a live setting than it did like on record. Like,
really? Because I feel like if the
yes.
album is bad, you're not going to even want to see them.
Right, true. But I'm not listening to bad albums and saying that's who I want to see in concert. Like, for example, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. That was a great album. I have nothing to take away from that album. But live, oh my God. Like, by the end, I was like, that was supposed to be heard live.
Yeah,
it is more money, but it was remarkable. I think my ticket was like $260, and it was arguably the easiest $260 to spend. That's not bad. I thought that was crazy.
Today's concerts for today's like big names, that's like not.
Yeah, that's true. I heard people out here getting mid Drake tickets for like $1,000. So that's got
I heard too.
Why would I ever pay $1,000 for Drake and Sir Savage the 21st? No, thank you.
Yeah,
me and Bailey were probably gonna get tickets.
That's why.
Not $1,000 tickets. Not $1,000 tickets.
Yeah, when Bailey sent that message like who getting their Drake tickets, the first thing that went through my mind was, oh, she got me so fucked up. I'm about to pay that much money to see this man. You crazy.
I mean, it'd probably be good, but
probably good. I just hope he doesn't play any. Really honestly, never mind. That's what I'm hoping.
You said you're hoping he does or he doesn't?
He does not.
I
think
think
I
it's
was
like
never
one song.
mind.
There's some good songs on there.
It's a couple good songs.
A couple, but
Yeah. He ain't
There
gonna play the
is
whole
some-
damn
some
song
others.
album. Like,
Yeah.
his newest one is out and it's terrible.
he hasn't had a concert since Certified Lover Boy.
Really?
Before
Oh,
Certified,
such a good
before
album.
Certified Lover Boy.
Certified Lover Boy is such a good album.
Debatable.
No, it's
I don't remember Certified Lover Boy, to be honest.
so good, man.
It's a good album.
Debatable.
Wait, was that the one with like girls want girls and stuff like
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that was a
My
decent
opinion
album.
of this album has evolved, but I will still say debatable.
Yeah, that was a pretty decent album.
I'll
I liked
take it. Like, I'll take it.
But yeah,
Kyle,
we can.
as a Drake hater, yeah, he says debatable. I'll take it. That's not an outright no, but he.
Debatable.
That's a positive in my eyes, honestly.
I don't know. He said the outright no is debatable. That means it could be.
Nah, because if he meant a no, he just would have said that.
Debatable.
To me, him saying debatable. To him saying debatable, that to me that means it was actually good. I just don't want to say it.
I don't think that's true.
I can speak Kyle talk. I'm very fluent in Kyle.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah.
What am I thinking right now?
I'm not a mind reader. I just not speaking language. Like, what do you want from me?
Why don't you tell me what I'm thinking?
I don't fucking know. United States democracy?
No, I was just looking at the letter Q on my keyboard. Just now thinking about it, kind of like the opposite.
You're like Q stands for questioning capitalists.
It also stands for a far right social movement on the internet where a bunch of people fell for a scam.
Oh my!
Sad. They thought that John F. Kennedy Jr. was going to come back and he was going to be president.
Look, isn't he dead?
Yeah.
Man,
They still showed up.
Man, that's
Where
crazy.
is he?
That's wild.
Can y'all do this with me? I think it's time.
What?
Here's the mail, it never fails.
It makes me wanna wag my
tail.
tail.
When it comes, I wanna wail.
Mail.
Yes, I did that, Jalen. Jalen's like, what the hell?
I think Jalen, the look on Jalen's face is saying, "Damn, I missed the bus." I have
I'm good over here.
You could have joined it anytime.
and I didn't. And now you got to live with that for the rest of this episode while you are answering questions like, "Damn, I wish
pity
I
you.
sang."
I don't even know what you were singing.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Nickelodeon.
I forgot. We got
bring
Jalen
it.
over here. He don't do nothing. He didn't do anything in his childhood. He's just staring at a wall.
Played sports every weekend. That's what I did.
You said what?
I played sports every weekend. That's what I did. My childhood.
But what did you do in the
Damn.
morning? Like, you ain't watch no Blues Clues. You didn't.
In the morning? What was I watching in the morning?
My man was over here watching CNN when he was.
I don't know if you know. I used to watch this show, and it was like cartoon, and it was about math. It was some weird ass math shit.
It's Toonami. Nah, that ain't for me. It's
I'm trying to watch magical math out here.
I want to find the name of that show now.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, we sang that song because it's mail time. I really wish we chose not to do it, but we just sang that for the fuck of it. But like I said,
it was called Cyber Chase. That's what I used to watch.
Oh, I remember
Cyber
Cyber
Chase. Yeah.
I didn't watch it much, but I do remember it. I mainly stopped watching when it's like if I wanted to watch something with math, I just go to school today. I didn't really
Trying to
watch
learn out here.
Right, I ain't trying to learn. I'm just trying to watch people play Duel Monsters.
That's right. No homework for Brandon.
That's right. I'm done with that.
I'm trying to find me.
You're
I'm trying to
holding me
help Dora
down.
find the things that are right behind her. That's how I'm trying to spend my day.
Hey, turn around, Doris. He's right behind you. Damn. Like, Dora needs to go to the eye doctor. That's what she needs to do. Like,
Gotta check the map on that
Dora
one.
needs to explore her insurance options. Like,
can't even see it. It's like he's like 2 feet away from her. She's like, "Oh,
can you
shit,
tell me? Can you tell me where the mountain is?" And it's like, bro, really? Like,
just turn around.
It's the only mountain around here. Like, how you got a map and you still asking me? That's
I know you see that mountain.
Same map. You just said it. Like, what do I gotta say it? Y'all are some powerless, dependent ass children.
All right.
But yeah, mailbag. So we have questions from people. The sources of these questions prefer that they remain anonymous, so they shall.
Because we get this from our mailbag.
Yeah, because we get it.
And why don't you tell the people where they can send questions to us that we can bring on the show?
That's a good question, Brandon. I mean, that's a good suggestion. That's a good suggestion, Brandon. It's almost like I didn't do that already. But if you do want to, yes, I did. But if you do want to send us questions, you can send them to our Instagram at _everything and nothing pod_. You can send them on Facebook to that same thing, but without the underscores. Or you can send it to our Twitter at E&N Show. That is EANDN Show. Or you can send them to our email that is already flooded, but we promise you we'll get to it. It is everythingnothing@gmail.com. So let's get into it, boys. You know what time it is. It's mail time. I wanted to sing it again, but we don't got to do it twice.
We can do it again.
No, they got to pay us for our singing at this point. We don't sing for free, Brandon.
We're gonna get a cease and desist from.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, we'll never do it again, Nickelodeon. I promise.
Right? Send us that cease and desist. Like, oh, you ain't gotta worry. That was a one-time thing anyway.
We'll never do it again. I promise.
We have already ceased. But yeah, let's get into it. We got 5 questions that we're 5 likely questions that we're gonna do. Depends on time, really, at this point. But jumping into it, we got one question by one person named Anonymous. And their question is, would you choose money or happiness for the rest of your life? Now, let's look at this question as if you choose one, you are guaranteed high amounts of the other. While, like, if you choose money, you're guaranteed to be rich, but your happiness will never be better than like a low level of content where you're like, I guess this is okay.
Wait, why we gotta do that?
Because when we talked about this before, the way we got into it was y'all were saying like, well, one is guaranteed, the other can still happen. I don't think the question was posed to be a which one would you rather have for certain, and the other one you can have anyway.
That's your interpretation. Like, I think.
Can we read the text? Can we read the? Can we review?
You just read it.
Let's hear it again.
Would you choose money or happiness for the rest of your life?
Yeah, that doesn't mean you can't have the other just because you choose one.
I think it does, because it's
I don't think just because you choose money, you gotta be miserable for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And I don't think if you choose happiness, you gotta be broke as a joke for the rest of your life.
I think if you choose money, your unhappiness is a natural consequence of your decisions.
That's not true. That's just not true. That's just not true. And I'm a living embodiment of that.
You will look around, and the armchairs and the end tables will have nothing to say to you.
Yeah, because they're inanimate objects.
Exactly. And all the things, your car, your boat, your house will have nothing to say to you.
Damn, I don't know nobody.
All right, Brandon. Let's do it like this then. I'm gonna name off some things that I'm sure are in your life that makes you happy. You have friends. You have a fiance.
Yes.
And I guess I'll just leave it at those 2 things. Let's say if you choose money, you do not have this fiance, and you do not have the friends that you have right now. Do you still choose money?
Why do I have to choose? Like that's
because
the whole
question.
Point.
The question asked you, which would you choose?
I don't think it's saying that though. Because okay, here's my deal.
Yeah,
Because to me,
what's your interpretation, Brandon?
my deal is that if I have money, I'm gonna be happy. Like that's just I am just going to be happier. I can tell you right now. You guys have known me my whole life. When I was broke as hell, like compared to now, which one's happier?
It's hard to tell sometimes.
That mask. That mask. I'll answer that question for you, since y'all couldn't put anything. I'm happier now.
Okay, I
I'm
was
way
like, I don't
happier
know if
now.
this is a trick question.
There's no trick question. I am way happier now. You don't want to know why? Because I can afford to pay my bills and actually have some money left over. That's nice. Not having to worry about where that next what
Okay,
about
but like,
groceries.
is
and-
that
How about this? What if we parameter this question as if you choose money, it doesn't necessarily mean you'll be miserable, but you'll never be as happy as you would be if you had chose happiness.
so pretty much what I said when we started? Like,
No, because what I got is that you couldn't be happy at all.
well, no, I got what I was saying is that you can be like you'll be content. Like this is fine. I am satisfied with where my life is, but it's never like, oh my god, I'm overfilled with joy.
So I
And
can
if-
never be filled with joy.
Well, I'm
I
not
pick
gonna say
money.
you can't. I mean, apparently for you, choosing money does that for you. So,
But by your logic, that I just can't be. So what's the point of picking
well, yeah,
money?
because that's how I interpret this
Like-
question. Like how am I trying to word this? You can, by choosing money, you can never experience true happiness. And by choosing happiness, you can never experience shitloads of money. I'm pretty much taking it as if you pick one, you can never feel the extreme of the other.
I don't need the extreme. I'm good. I'm picking money.
Wow.
I don't need the extreme. If I can get like right to extreme, like right below it, oh, I'm good. Like I'm good. like I'm capped out on happiness. Like,
Brandon,
right?
I'm gonna give you a bit of homework that you never have to physically
No,
do.
I'm not doing it.
When you have that moment in your life where it's like this is the happiest moment of my life, ask yourself, would I trade this for money?
How will I know that? Because it will always be so far.
What do you mean?
Huh?
The happiest moment of my life will always be so far. 'cause
The
I can't
happiest
tell the
moments
future.
of I mean, you can still do that like for that moment because at that moment you experience a level of happiness that you're willing to acknowledge this is the happiest you've been as of now.
You know what
Would
the
you trade
happiest
that
moment-
happiest moment for money?
You know, it was one of the happiest moments of my life so far.
It's
Was
probably
when I-
got something to do with money.
It does. When I got this new job and I saw my first paycheck, because to me that signified I'd made it, and I wouldn't be in the position I had been in my whole life from now on.
All right. Well, me, I'm gonna choose happiness because this goes back to us talking about life purposes, and I feel like one of my life purposes is just to be fulfilled in the life that I live. While money is great and it does bring a level of comfort and a level of security and a level of like just not really giving a fuck about anything, it doesn't like Kyle was saying, when you're in your deathbed and you're surrounded by all these inanimate things, they'll never talk to you and they will never share in whatever happiness you did have. They're just things that came throughout having money.
Tyler, you can't have friends just because you got money. This is crazy.
Well, no, I'm not saying you can't have friends if you have money, but like I said, I see that question as you either choose money and forfeit the ability to experience true happiness, or you choose happiness and forfeit the ability to experience like big money. I don't care to have big money. My bills can be paid off of the income that I make now, and life is no hassle for me. But me being able to pay my bills, there are still plenty of days where I can be down about something else because my bills being paid, I guess because I don't have to worry about them. So I might be speaking from a place of privilege here, but being able to do those things doesn't really bring me any level of happiness. It only brings me relief that I don't have to worry about it.
All right.
I think I'm gonna also choose happiness because communism is a stateless, moneyless, classless society, and so we don't even need the money, and that's what I'm gonna go with.
Okay. So I'm kind of on the fence with this one. On one hand, happiness, like I agree with Mike. I don't necessarily like need an exorbitant amount of money to survive in this life, and like if I, it's hard because in my head, like if I am going to be truly happy, or I would need some form of money to get that, and it would be more than I'm currently making right now. But I think for this question, I'm actually going to go with money. And the reason why is because I'd be willing to be content for the rest of my life for generational wealth in my family and being able to take care of all the people I love, including you guys, family, everybody that I care about. I think I would be willing to make that sacrifice.
But why, like, what do we add to your life for you to be willing to make such a sacrifice?
He can't just be a caring person.
I mean, he can be a caring. He can be a
selling his happiest moment.
Yeah, this man is just like, I want to do nice things for people. He's like, what are we doing for you that would make you want to do that?
No, and I'm not. I feel like you're misinterpreting the question. Like, I'm not saying it like that. What I'm getting at is the reasons that you would want to make that sacrifice. The reasons that you would want to make that kind of money is to make life better for the people in your life that you care about. Which
basically, I would be sacrificing my happiness for the happiness of the people that I care about.
Also, to say he does not have to be sad. Like
you said content. Now, if you said I was going to be miserable for the rest of my life, I probably would choose something else.
You didn't even say
content. You said content.
You can't get to extreme happiness. You can be slightly under extreme happiness, and
I think, logically speaking, I think that would be the choice I'd make.
I mean, if it was as simple as like being rich and still being able to be happy, obviously I would choose the money. But the way I took it, or the way that my influence was answered, was I think about the things and the people that make me happy, that bring me the level of happiness that I currently have. And thinking, if I choose money, the things that currently make me happy in my life, I don't have. That's how I took it.
People ain't gonna just go away. And once again, you said extreme happiness. There's
that's because I'm trying to find a way to make this work for you.
It worked for me.
I took the question plain and dry. Do you want one or the other? I didn't try to make mixes, but it seemed like a compromise had to be met to meet the question.
Well, yeah, I think as far as the question goes, like it's just very hard. There's always going to be some portion of money that is directly or indirectly related to happiness. Now, it's not all of your happiness, but there is a portion of it that can affect that, how high that can go, as far as money to happiness, and vice versa. I think you do need a certain amount of money to be happy in life. Somebody that's homeless that's answering this question, that's going to be an easy choice for them.
Indeed.
Okay. Well, are we ready to move on to the second question?
So,
yep.
Question number 2 from another source that will remain anonymous. What is your biggest fear? I can go first. Um, my biggest fear is, to put it plain and simply, dying alone. Um, while in a literal sense, I am likely going to die alone. I mean, more so in the sense that I don't want to die having nobody in my life that I can say I very genuinely loved, and vice versa. Um, I've done a pretty good job avoiding that so far in my life. I'm not saying it's the driver behind the relationships I build and things like that, but just the concept of going through life by myself and it ending without me having much to look back on and like, man, I'm glad that I had this person to fulfill this part of my life, or I had these memories with these people to think back on and for them to have, and to think about for the rest of their lives. I don't want to die having not had that kind of impact on anybody and not having anybody to have had that kind of impact for me. Um, so goes to say I'm doing a pretty good job of avoiding my biggest fear right now. Yeah, I can't think of many worldly things that I fear. But that's because I haven't been in those situations. Like people always say, like, so if a crocodile popped up in front of you, you wouldn't be scared. And I'm like, I don't know if I'd necessarily be scared as much as I would be desperate to survive. Like, I don't think wanting to live always equates to fear. Um, but yeah, that's mine. I don't want to die alone. I don't mind being alone from time to time. In fact, there are times where I prefer it, but I never want it to stay that way.
Well, for me, I'm afraid of heights. That's not my biggest fear, but I am.
I don't know if I knew that. No, I knew
Yeah,
that. Never mind.
do roller coasters, anything like that. I did gain a fear, which was escalators.
Really?
Yeah,
Gained a fear?
When did this happen?
a couple years ago, but it's only
Yeah,
because
Vegas was rough for Brandon.
yeah.
Was that when?
The down ones, man. It's the down ones. Like, no, it's because when I was younger, and I was like, this is during my come up phase. I was working at Cobo Hall, and the Cobo Hall escalators are huge. Like they're very tall,
Hmm.
and I was working a one of those temp jobs, and excuse me, sorry, um, and my shoelaces were untied and it got caught.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that
On
was
a down
scary.
escalator?
Going up. Oh no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no! It was on the down. Yeah, yeah. And I thought I was gonna fall. And stairs are sharp. Like,
Yeah, those stairs can be
Yeah,
annoying
sure.
if you fall.
so yeah, that terrorized me. But I'm working on it. Whenever I go to the mall, one, I'm afraid of heights already, so that's compounded. I'm on the second floor and I'm looking down, so it's like it literally was compounded. I'm already afraid of heights, and then this escalator is
Yeah,
going
let's
down.
say
It's
it already got paired with a big fear
yeah.
here, so
So
that's not good.
one of my biggest fears, though, growing up, and this compares to what we were just talking about, really, was ending up in the same position I was at the beginning. Because of what we went through, all of us had a fierce, fierce want to be in a better position. My fear was that, for the longest when we were growing up and, me trying my best to be better or end up in a better position, the longest was I just never was going to get out of that. I struggled for a very long time with you guys. And yeah, for the longest, I was scared that I was just never going to make it. I didn't know how to make it. I did some desperate moves. Obviously, I'm here now, but I'm not gonna lie. I was worried for a while. you know, right? We got out of college the first time, and those couple years from 2015 all the way up to like 2020, I was worried because I had no idea how I was gonna get to where I am now. But fear avoided. It's about to get better. Your boy always comes out a winner. At least that's how I feel that. So, yeah, those are my fears conquered. Just got to work on the heights thing. Probably will never face that one, and I'm okay with that.
I mean, you face it from time to time. I don't know if you think about it while you do. I assume you do. But like if you go on a plane, you're facing that fear actively.
Actually, planes is not. It's not a big
planes
deal.
are different.
Yeah, they feel different, honestly. Like you're in
That's
a seated
fair.
position.
A ladder, though?
Oh, fool. Fuck a ladder. Fuck a ladder.
Fuck a ladder.
They will know. They're like, man, I could never do one of those ladder matches.
Yeah.
Like, man, you just take the belt, man. I'll get it
Right.
on the next
But it's like you knew exactly what kind of match to pick to keep me from winning this title.
Like you take the win, I got you in a regular singles match. Like next week.
I'll see you next week on SmackDown.
Exactly. Nah, but I
How did you feel like when we were in Jalen's suite at Caesar's Palace, like looking up? I assume you probably didn't look out the window much.
I did look out.
And how did you feel?
But I was fine because I was on a very stable ground.
Okay, so are you more afraid of the fear falling from heights or heights themselves?
I think it's a mixture because, like, say for instance, I was on a stable ground, but it was made out of glass. Like
I've always wanted to go on one of those
like
glass
see
bridges.
through. Nah.
You like that?
So if it's like I could fall, like,
yeah, like I think it's the idea of looking down and seeing it is really crazy to me. But for some reason it doesn't trigger sometimes. But no roller coasters. I hate the feeling it gives me, and it's pretty high up. So.
I love roller coasters. It's been too long.
Too.
Kyle, Jalen, what are your biggest fears?
Yeah, I've been thinking on this one. Definitely felt like y'all went very like.
You thought we were just gonna say spiders or some shit?
I don't know. I think it was sort of like there was a point when it was like, "What's your biggest fear?" And Mike, you were like, "You dying alone," and I was like, "Oh damn! I didn't even consider that."
Bro, y'all biggest fear is scaring me.
You ever been in the shower and there's like a spider in the corner and you got me at my most vulnerable. I hate you, spider. Like this happened today. I was in the shower and I saw it in the corner. I just had like my eye on it. I'm like, you gotta die today because I can't live in fear while I'm taking this shower and I'm at my most vulnerable. Never again. Sorry, Kyle. I just need to
that's fair. I think that I think for the sake of this mailbag question, my answer will be history repeating itself. Kind of similar to Brandon talking about ending up back where we started. I don't like going backwards in time. Doesn't feel good. I don't know if it's a fear though, as much as I just don't like it.
You just don't like it, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you say history repeating itself, are there like specifics, or is it like if anything has happened once, you don't want it to happen again?
And
I mean, obviously there are things in history. That's the thing too. Is like to even say, "Oh, my biggest fear is for history to repeat itself." Like to be afraid of something that one is like. I don't know. It's not. It's gonna happen regardless. Like history's always gonna repeat itself in different ways, in different forms. This takes different shapes, but yeah. I guess I'm having a hard time with this question. I think I'm gonna have to pass.
Okay.
Are you scared of spiders?
Are you talking Kyle?
Yeah.
Am I afraid of spiders?
Yeah, you scared of spider?
No, spiders are my friends. When I see the spider in the shower, I'm like, "Hey, little guy, thanks for making sure there's no other bugs in here."
That is true.
Spiders I'm like, bro, this spider gonna jump at me at any second. They're like,
some of them look like they're ready to jump.
Yeah.
Some of them, I'm like, I gotta watch you.
I don't mind spiders, but I don't fuck with snakes.
Oh,
That
For
I
sure.
remember
I
I
do
had a snake
not
for
fuck
a
with
couple
snakes.
weeks. I had a snake for a couple weeks, and Brandon was like, "Don't expect me to ever come into your room." And I was like, "So I should keep him."
whatever you wanted, man. I hated the fact you got that fucking snake. I was like, there go Mike and his like random ass self again. Get a fucking snake out of
I
nowhere.
love that snake, but yeah, ultimately I couldn't keep him because one, at that point, I'm like, "Yo, ain't no girl about to try to come stay here if there's a fucking snake in the room." So there's that, and two, having the snake was definitely far more expensive than I thought it was. No, like this just is not a feasible thing right now.
What's the thing when you just do something like
Impulsive?
spontaneous? Yes,
Impulse.
you that it explains you to a T.
I wouldn't say
Most of our friendship,
I
you just be doing
definitely
shit.
I would definitely agree that there was once a time where I was incredibly impulsive. Now I'm not as impulsive. Um I would say the only thing I am pretty impulsive with still is my game purchases because I bought Hogwarts Legacy and have played it twice. Uh, it is not even that I didn't like it. I genuinely enjoyed what I did, but I'm like, man, why would I buy this when I know I'm like nose deep in Persona right now? And I'm like, because I know I'll get around to it. But then I see Resident Evil 4 and I'm like, I gotta get that when I'm done with Persona. Like,
Yeah, that Dead Space. Yeah,
so yeah,
Uh,
my impulse definitely shows in some ways, but I'm not just copping random snakes anymore.
that's good.
my I guess my I that is true. I don't fuck with snakes, especially like out in the wild. I'm not going anywhere near because I don't know what a poisonous snake looks like and a not poisonous snake, and I'm not ready to risk that.
You can tell by the fangs. You don't want to stick
I'm
them.
not getting that
Yeah,
close.
yeah. I'm about to say, you probably don't want
Be
to.
like,
What you got?
Yeah, you poisonous?
Like, oh, you a poison this one? Just throw it.
just whip it around. Either don't hurt us.
um, I think my biggest fear is that I will grow old not feeling like I got to experience life to the fullest.
Mm.
And by that I mean being able to travel around the world and do the things that, speaking of our last question, fulfill happiness. Um, I think that is a big fear of mine, and I guess also
And you
I'm gonna
chose
say,
money?
yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, the reason I say that is because right now I don't. The way I feel right now, I don't have the money to go do those things.
I know what you mean.
I feel that.
But yeah, I think that's my biggest fear: not being able to do all those things that I want to do.
Okay.
But when it's my time to pass.
Then
Like a
that
bucket list.
Right,
If
I
you
was about
will.
to say that bleeds into a bucket list.
A bucket list, if you will. Huh?
So it sounds
Yeah.
like we're gonna be bringing that topic around. I want to add an honorable mention to one for me, more a dishonorable mention because I don't want it. But another huge fear of mine is like betrayal by the people that I trust most. Um, that is something I've experienced in life, and that is a feeling that it was very, very hard to bounce back from. And I would say to this day, there are still like chips on my shoulder that I'm trying to get rid of and correct as I navigate life. So that's another really, really big one for me. Just because I saw how at a younger age it shaped me and how those things at that younger age affect me now. And like I feel like I'm fighting uphill battles like almost all the time for no reason whatsoever. So I would say betrayal by those close to me is not even like a number two. It's like a 1B to my biggest fears.
I mean, it's kind of similar to like. I'll ask you guys this question: would you ever get back with someone that cheated on you? I couldn't
Not
do it.
I've done it before, but that was at a different point in my life where the way that I feel about myself now, I did not feel then. So it was easier to go back because the value my value of myself was not high enough to counteract the feelings that I felt about being cheated on.
I
Now,
couldn't do it
fuck no.
because I could never trust them again. You'd always be
Yeah.
thinking like, what if they cheat on me right now? Like,
Right, I'm like, does this work as like opening a door for that to happen again? Like, but like, I don't know, because I don't know if it's always that black and white. Like, while I can easily say right now, no, there's no way in hell. What if like that person is like super remorseful and they realize what they did wrong and it's like, yo, this is what I'm gonna do to be better? Because like for me, an apology is change behavior. It's not just words. So what if you do see those changes in behavior? Like, can something change outright? If my in my first impression of things, I do say no. But I don't want to say no, and that's just like the be all end all. For me, yeah, the biggest thing for me is I like to be as stress free as possible. And even if it is only temporary, now I'm stressing about what's going on that I don't know. And I'd rather not have that. So I'm good.
Yeah, I think no. I think when there's cheating in a relationship, there's probably something underlying going on that has been unsaid or unresolved that um not that it's like a good choice for somebody to make, but it's never just like black and white. Oh, um, they just cheated to for the fun of it.
Some people do, bro. Like,
I mean, yeah, that's true.
those are the people that
Those
scare
people,
me.
yeah, you gotta stay away from those people. Um, but I think like in that situation, I think you definitely would have to have a break, a long break to even consider going back.
Now, question about taking that break. If y'all come back together and and the person that cheated admits to you, like, yeah, I messed around with the person I cheated with during that break, do you still feel open to possibly returning?
never got to that point. So, but
Never got to
look,
Yeah.
Kyle, you made a lot of facial
Like it had to
Yeah.
be like
contortions.
10 years later for me, like
Oh, you
long
thought?
time.
Oh no, I'd have
Talk
moved
about long
on.
split.
That's
10 years.
somebody that I used to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Kyle, you made a lot of facial
Yeah. I
contortions,
think
so
I've just been
especially.
kind of racking my brain around this because I thought we were doing mailbag, and
Well,
all of a
we
sudden
just,
Brandon decided to just
yeah,
Brandon threw
kind
his
of
own question into
threw
the
his own
mailbag.
I
question
I
in the
did.
bet.
mailbag. And I guess for me, I've never appreciated the word cheating when talking about relationships because it's not a game. It's not. I think if a boundary, if a communicated boundary was violated, then you have every right to say, I'm never going to mess with this person again. I don't want to see them. I don't want to hear from them. Like, if a communicated boundary is violated, that's fine. But if, to a certain degree, like, if you haven't communicated boundaries within your own relationship, if you haven't established what the container of your relationship is,
Sure.
and someone goes and does something that you don't like, right? Is that cheating because you didn't like it, or is that it's I think that the word cheating it gamifies relationships in a way that I think like I just don't like, and it doesn't feel good to
All
me.
right, then what about if we said what if we said sexually transgressed?
Sexually transgressed, well, to be honest with you, cheating and now with sexually transgressed, it's there's this ownership that's happening that I feel when we talk about relationships in this way
That's
that
fair.
I don't personally like in my own relationships.
Mhm.
I don't want to feel like I own my partner or like my partner owns me.
Right.
Um, and I want to feel like two separate entities that are in communication with one another and setting boundaries and building a container together for us
Mm.
both to live and exist in. And if that container says, oh, we can leave this container and we can come back, and we, as long as we communicate, as long as it works for the folks that are in the container, then it works for the folks that are in the container. But
Right.
it kind of, I don't know. It to me, I think about relationships a little different.
So you don't think that there's some things that automatically like come with the relationship? Because I feel like there's like
Well,
some
I think I
auto
think
things that
I
come with a
don't
relationship.
I think it's weird that we're having this conversation because this is now it feels like we're turning into like the TikToks that I see that I hate. where it's like
I don't have
guys
TikTok,
on
dog.
guys on podcasts talking about relationships, and the takes are always like atrocious. And so I'm just kind of worried because this feels like a kind of I got like a lot of yellow flags going up where I'm like,
Really?
this feels like a little bit of a danger zone for the four of us to come on and talk about this. But
I think it would be a danger
Yep.
zone if we were all here being like, cheating, man. I own women. No, I'm not saying anything like that. Like,
yeah, but I guess you're saying, are there certain like, I'm not sure if you're saying like cultural expectations or like, because for example, if two people are say having sex, right?
Mhm.
And then person A, person B, and then person A goes and has sex with person C, right? But person A and person B have never talked about the container, have never established boundaries with one another, have never, actually discussed what is this relationship, then like there is like cheating on what? Again, it's like it's not a game.
But I don't think that's true. I feel like, yeah, you would assume, like, most people, if you are in a relationship with someone and you are exclusive and you choose to have sex with someone, they're not going to be like, you know what, we didn't talk about it, so I guess it's
if
okay.
you're exclusive, that's
you're
defining those
that is
boundaries.
a communicate.
Yeah, that's
That means
defining
there was a
boundaries.
communication. You can't.
When I
you're
say
not
relationship, do you
not
not think that?
exclusive if you have
Well,
not
no, not always. You can be in a polyamorous relationship. You can be.
But you would discuss that. I'm saying, like, if
Exactly.
you're in a regular relationship, like,
Well, who's
that's
to
what
say
I was
what
talking
a
about.
regular relationship
Yeah,
is what Kyle was saying.
That's and I'm saying, yeah, this kind of like us talking about relationships like there is one way to have a relationship, and that
But like on Brandon's end of things, like him posing that question, he's posing that question excluding you to people who are in
A typical
monogamous relationship. I'm not gonna say typical. I have no place to say what typical is, but we are all in monogamous relationships. So he was asking us that question, like just from that level of where we are. I don't think it was a question meant to the public, like how would any person react to the situation. I think
I'm not telling people how to live their life and anything. I said my opinion. Like, I didn't say anyone else's.
Yeah, like I said, I just think that like these kind of conversations, especially when we talk about monogamous relationships, I think that there is a through line through not all monogamous relationships, but a lot of monogamous relationships of this like ownership element that I personally have I take serious issue with, and that has been kind of a little bit of an issue in some of my past relationships, but yeah, I don't know. I think if someone violated a boundary of mine, would I get back with them? I'm gonna go with no.
All right, that answers my question. That answers my question.
But yeah, I do agree with just that concept of ownership that does seem to show itself in a lot of relationships. But I feel like when talking about monogamous relationships, it's not necessarily a matter of ownership per se. It's more so like when I am with you in a monogamous context, everything that I am pouring in, not everything, but like sexually or like in terms of like intimate emotions that I don't bring to other people and things like that, that's a me and you thing. And like, as you said, that's a communicated boundary.
Mm-hmm. And it's also about that sounds like also like the container.
Yeah, that's the container.
What can we hold in here that doesn't have to go out there?
That doesn't have to go out there. With Brandon's question of cheating, I took that just under the context of the relationship that he's in, the one that I'm in, the one that I can only assume Jalen is also in. Of just that, like with that being an implied piece of that container, which for you, it doesn't have to be. Like, but as you communicated, if a boundary that you like, if a hard boundary of that container is broken, you don't go back. And I feel that wholeheartedly because especially
that's up to you. Like,
right. But like as we get older,
Brandon's like, don't listen to us.
I mean, live your life the way you want to live it, right? like, try not to hurt people when you do it, though.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good caveat.
Yeah, don't do that. I'll tell you, don't do that. Like only villains do that. Like so.
All right. Question number 3. Well, I guess this will be question number 4 if we add in Brandon's mailbag.
I'm just giving you extra content. You're welcome.
I'm not saying it was a bad thing. I enjoyed the question.
Wonderful.
But next question by an anonymous source: what can you do today that you were not capable of a year ago?
And we haven't answered this question before.
I don't think we have. It
think
didn't
so.
say we. It didn't say we did on the
deja
Excel
vu
sheet.
with this question.
Even if we have Kyle, that was a year ago.
Right.
You'd probably do something better now.
I got to think about my answer because I'm not.
I can
sure
I can do it. I can do it. What can I do today that I couldn't do a year ago? Well, I can twist my ring around. That's kind of nice.
It's very material.
Yes. One of my biggest things, though, and it is also a material thing, is I can lift heavier weights, way heavier weights than I could before.
I don't know if that's a material thing.
I mean, the weights are material.
I mean, the weights are material, yeah, but I think what you're more so attributing to
my muscles are material.
Your muscles are a part of you.
And I am material.
And you are building.
Everything is atoms.
Everything.
Right, so
don't argue with me. It's my time.
Okay. Yeah, do you?
Thank you. So yeah, I can lift a lot heavier weights. Yeah, I've been going to the gym for a better part of a year plus. Just working on my body.
Your material
Not
body.
at all where I want to be. But I definitely have noticed I can do, like, I compare myself to when I started, like in January of last year to now, and man, I can do a lot more than I could do now. A lot more. I can lift a lot heavier. Today I was doing the lat press, and I was doing 140 pounds easily, and that felt pretty cool. It's the idea of getting yourself to the gym that I hate. I hate the gym, by the way. But
I love the gym.
I hate the gym, but I like the feeling I get when I can lift heavy shit. And I feel like that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea of having to go to the gym and wasting the little time that I have to myself doing that, I hate it. But I'm gonna keep going because it's necessary. It's necessary. So yeah, that's definitely some things. I could do push-ups and stuff now a decent amount. I did, like, this is for some of you people, some of you skinny people out there, you might be like, that's not impressive, but for me, a big man, is impressive.
You can do 10 push-ups now?
No, I did 36.
Oh, okay. Shout out.
So
that's
not
good.
all at once. Not all at once. Let's bring it back.
Okay.
not all at once at all. Like, boy, I might break my damn arm trying to do that shit. No, we not all at once. But with some breaks, we got there. But yeah, I'm getting stronger, and hopefully, with a lot more work. I recently did a bet with my friend Victor that I would lose 50 pounds my next birthday, and if I did not, I would pay him $500.
Wait, so like the next birthday that's coming?
Yeah, so 31.
Yeah. So
you got about a year.
About what you were saying with money and happiness, it feels like
exactly
a real motivator for you.
It is. I've been to the gym 3 times this week.
So what is it that you don't like about the gym brand?
The sacrifice of time seems to be part of it.
I think that's really a good portion of it. And I think I hate it, and then when I get there and I'm like I can do the workout, and I feel good doing it, especially when I can lift heavier stuff. But man, the feeling I feel sometimes when I be going kind of crazy, I hate it. I'm like, I can barely breathe and everything hurts. Like, this sucks. I'm putting myself through this. And so
the hardest part is getting to the gym. I will say that for sure.
Once you're there,
once you're there, it's like I like get into the zone, and I I enjoy it. And like the past 2 times I've been was gone for like at the gym for like an hour and a half, just getting stronger.
I
So
remember when I lived with Ed, there were days where like he'd be like, all right, I'm going to the gym, and I'm like, bet. And it's like 3 hours later, I'm like, yo, are you still at the gym? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, what do you
You know, I'm trying to sculpt my body to look like Michael B. Jordan from Creed. So, you know, it's a work in progress, but we gonna get there.
that shit. If
I'm
you
just
there
kidding.
for
I'm not
three
trying to.
hours, you're on your way. But
I'm not
like,
trying to get to that man. That man looks like a sculpture. I'm good. Like I'm trying to look normal.
he's got
Like,
yeah, the thing about
what I
physiques like that is
yeah.
like now you got to maintain it. Like you got it,
What
but
I've
like
what I've learned about from TikTok and about the fitness community is like a lot of the people you're seeing, like I guarantee you they're on some type of performance enhancing drug because
most
nobody looks
likely,
like that naturally. It is damn near impossible to look like Michael B. Jordan does without some tren or other steroid.
so all I
So
gotta do is do the cheat code and do some performance enhancing drugs.
yeah, sometimes I think about man, if I just get some steroids, I mean,
just one time.
just one time.
I'm just kidding. We don't. We at the
We don't
Everything and
condone
Nothing
drug use on this
podcast. We
podcast.
don't. Yeah, we ain't doing that. Like, but I mean, I guess you could do it if you want to, as long as you don't hurt nobody. Like, it's up to you. Live the life you want to live. You know. But you didn't hear that from us. You know, just do whatever you want and blame it on yourself for the consequences.
fair. For me, one thing I can do now that I couldn't do a year ago is I still haven't found an answer for mine, but I'm just thinking of things that I do now that I didn't really do a year ago. A year ago, I think I worry more about the money that I was spending. I'm not saying that now I can just go out and buy whatever I want and not worry about the consequences. That's still not the case. I'm working for that though. I definitely have a stronger security with the money that I make. I'm smarter about using it than I was a year ago for the most part. Um, and yeah, it's nice to just be able to do things with this money. And not worry about like where my next check comes from or if I spent too much now to like take me out of rhythm later. It's not really something I'm concerned about. Honestly, my whole idea of money has changed. So another thing I can say I do now that I didn't do a year ago was have as much of a sense of value for money, like not necessarily like as a shot at Brandon, like the way how money is somewhat tied to your happiness, but more so just like money is just a thing that is used to accomplish other things. So the money itself is never really a worry for me. It's just being able to accomplish something. And I have not met something as of now, except for this absurd ass emergency room bill that I have that I could not conquer. So um yeah, I would say a year ago I could not have the relationship or I did not have the relationship with money that I do now.
All right. Yeah, I think for me, I would say that I think I kind of almost think I have two answers. I think my first answer is that I feel as though I'm a better organizer than I was a year
Damn, that's
ago.
crazy because you've always been good at that.
Yeah, and I feel like I've been tasked with it more and more, and I'm learning that it really all comes down to lists. And lists at that's sort of the end all be all of organizing. But my second one is I think that from a year ago to now, I'm I guess better at um I'm gonna use the language of like seizing the present moment and like take like actually like taking action in the present moment, um, as opposed to kind of like sitting around and being like more
It'll
anxious
get
about it
done
than anything.
eventually.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's good.
I would say for me, um, what can I do today that I was not capable of a year ago? I think, I don't know if I have a good answer, but I will say that today I can code a little bit, and I could not do that a year ago. So that's going to be my answer.
Very cool.
Keep it up, man.
Yeah, keep
can
it
be
up.
very
Yeah.
rewarding. You can come into my world. Although, I mean that in only the worst.
I'm literally giving myself homework. It's crazy.
Couldn't be
Brandon
me.
hates that word.
You know, I was talking with someone about you actually, Jalen.
Oh,
And
yeah?
how, I was like proud of you for like, getting into this. You Kyle for doing this plumbing stuff. But I was like, it came back to the homework thing. I was like, I cannot imagine. I was like, I would love to try and do programming again, and just do it myself. But I'm like, I'm gonna have to have like, want to do that. And that's the last thing I want to do is like some things that I like assign myself as homework. No, thank you. I'd rather play games and relax.
You see, Brian, what happened was that I put my credit card in there, and it bills me every month. So if I don't use it, it's still going to bill me. So I might as well learn it.
Yeah, that's like that's like my theory behind a gym membership. I'm like, bro, they taking this money whether you show up to the gym or not.
Facts.
Moving on to the next question. If we got 2 questions left, folks, so hang in there.
Do all of them
though. If you could have one global wish or favor, what would it be?
Global wish?
Yeah, so for example, ending world hunger, stopping all wars, etc.
You're the world, make it a better place. No? No one else that?
Okay. Nope.
For you and for me with the entire human race.
Mine would be for Brandon to not sing anymore. No,
I think the answer for me that comes to mind is workers of the world unite.
Unite for what?
Under a common banner and establish seize the means of production.
So your global wish is worldwide communism.
I mean, I didn't say that. No one has that on the record of me saying that.
That is true. We don't.
Workers of the world unite.
My man sound like Captain Planet. Let's see. My global wish, if I could make one global wish, it's the first wish for more global wishes. No, I'm joking. If I can do that, I will do that. But I'm under the assumption that you can't wish for more wishes. I only get one, and it seems like there are so many important things. Oh, one global wish. I don't know if I can necessarily change the world itself or just the people in it. But if I could choose one, it would be to reverse climate change. And I don't know if that's a viable option or not. But if it is, that's my answer.
I mean, it's a wish.
Yep. So reverse climate change.
My wish is going to be that I'm not responsible enough to make this wish. So my wish is to give my wish to Kyle. Hopefully we'll make the right decision. I'm not responsible enough to make this decision.
If you wish to give your wish,
I wish that I was Scrooge McDuck and I had all this money. I could slide down into my vaults of gold coins.
I love how Family Guy addressed the fact that there was no way my man was just diving into coins.
Oh yeah, that would be kind of hard to
do. I'm just imagining you're given one global wish, and you're like, I would love to just swim in the world's money.
No, I just said I'm not responsible. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just giving it to you.
Is that how you would use your wish?
No, I'd just say something basic like in world hunger, I guess.
I mean, that would be good. That would have a huge impact on everybody.
Yeah.
For me, I guess what I would say is, what should be for, I guess, how about equity? Yeah, equity in all aspects of society.
What is equity?
Have you ever seen like the illustration where they're like
No.
people looking over a fence? There's one person that's standing on a big crate so he can see well over the fence. And then there's the person that is standing on a smaller crate, but is still able to see over the fence, just not as well, but they can still see over the fence. And they're like, this is equality because both sides can still see over the fence, though one person has to stand on a smaller crate. Equity is everybody has that same size crate.
Disagree. I think
Kyle about to take you to school.
Equality.
Go,
As long as I don't get homework, that's fine.
We at the Everything and Nothing podcast hate homework. That's the message here tonight.
Equality would be, so if we've got three people of varying heights, right? And we've got a wooden fence, and let's say one person without a box can see over the fence. If we give everyone a box, that would be equality.
Same size box.
Yep, same size box. Everybody's equal, right? And so we give everyone a box, and then now the taller person sees even higher over the fence. The person who couldn't see over the fence now can, but then this other person still can't see over the fence.
But they got a box. So
yeah, and so equity would be like, let's say you would either be giving bigger boxes or more boxes to the folks who need it to get to see over the fence.
There we go. Thank you.
Alternatively, we could rip out the fence and reinstall it with a fence that we could see through. And then you wouldn't need the boxes in the first place because the people who were shorter could still see through the fence. But even alternatively to that, we could rip out the fence and just say no more borders.
Is that communism?
I didn't say that either. I have made no such claim.
Okay.
But I do think equity would be about giving either bigger boxes or more boxes to
give
the folks
everybody that same
to get everybody to the same height once you add their height plus the boxes. But again, I think we got to do something with the fence.
Thank you for cleaning that analogy up for me. I definitely butchered it there, but we got handy dandy Kyle here to make right of the wrongs, and I appreciate it.
Like Bob the Builder.
Really? Last question. If there was anything that you would change about yourself, what would it be?
Wish I had a bigger beard.
Really?
That's it.
I'm just kidding. For me, I worked my ass off to get to where I am. So it would have been a while ago that I wish I had more money and was in a better position. But now the really only thing I'm missing is like having the body that I want. So
I feel that.
I would change that. For me, and I feel like I kind of had it all. So yeah, but that takes time or a lot of money to get done. I don't have the lot of money part.
Me, if I could change any one thing, it would be, I think for lack of better terms of what can fully encapsulate what I mean, improved, if not ironclad, mental discipline. Because I feel like with that, anything I want is achievable, like with it. So if I want to improve my body, I have the discipline to stick with whatever it is. If
it's hard too.
Yeah, I know. If I have the desire to chase a better career and I know what that is that I want to do, I have the discipline within myself to actually pursue that thing. Like, And I'm not saying I don't have that now. I just know it could be much, much better. I know a lot of things in my life that I want to be consistent are not consistent. And part of that is due to, in some areas, my lack of self-discipline. So I would love to have an ironclad self-discipline so that nothing ever breaks that. And I am constantly moving forward.
Why does food gotta taste good, man?
That's
I
a
wish
good
it
one.
was.
Bro, why does food have to be so delectable?
I know.
Why
I
are the
hate it.
worst things the ones that taste the best? Like,
Yes.
like,
I've been kind of like I'm no, I wouldn't say a diet, but I'm on a calorie restriction.
mhm.
So I'm like vigorously counting every single calorie that I consume, even down to like a 10-calorie Jolly Rancher. Got to put it in my fitness pal. um, and I've been doing it for a couple of weeks, so I'll keep reporting back, see how that works. I've lost 4 pounds in 2 weeks.
Hey,
So
shout out.
I try to do that. And there have been some days, because I do that too. I usually lose it. There have been some days where it's like, I don't put in what I have because I know that I don't. Who am I disappointing? Like, am I disappointed to lose it at? Like,
Yeah, like
like,
one big thing that helped me, like, I don't know if y'all remember, this was like before we did the pod. I used to
the
like
boxing
number
game.
my workouts on like Snapchat and like just
remember
show
that?
my streak and stuff like that. Part of that, like one big thing that pushed me through a lot of that, because there were some days where I'm like, yo, I could just not do it and say I did. And I'm like, the only person that I can cheat on this journey is myself. I'm like, I can lie to whoever, and that means absolutely nothing to them. But at the end of the day, I did not do what I needed to do. I'm the only person I hurt. And honestly,
Mhm.
that pushed me very far in itself. When like knowing like the only person I'm letting down by breaking the streak is me. And it's like I'm the last person I want to let down right now. So that just kept me on my horse for a while. Then eventually life just kind of broke that up. I think I went home for Christmas or something like that. And then I had to do something else after that. And once those days came around where I'm like, oh, this is what it felt like to not work out every day, I stopped.
This is much nicer. Like,
like my body is under no kind of stress right now. I miss this feeling. And then I overindulged in that feeling. Then I tried to get that count going again. And like I said, that mental discipline, I was like, nah, fuck all that. But I was like, do you know how hard it was to get to almost 200 days? That was nuts. I can't do that again.
like, why don't you relax? Take a load off. Play some Persona.
Play some Persona.
Like,
But yeah,
it really is the only person that can stop you is you
yeah.
in almost every situation. I'm not gonna say almost every situation.
Jalen, Kyle, what would you change about yourselves?
What I would change on myself, I don't know. I
nothing is
think
a valid option.
I really like the discipline, Mike, but I don't want to just rip you off, say the same thing.
I mean, if that's what it is, that's what it is.
Yeah, I think that is. I think having self discipline, like even looking back on the past, if I had more, I think I could be farther in just life in general than I am right now. And um, I think I'm starting to get that now more, like being able to put aside video games to make sure I do this hour or two of coding is like very hard to do. um, but it is self discipline that's doing that, and it can be. It is very easy to just be like, no, I'm not going to do that today, and then
Yeah.
now you're snowballing, and you haven't done what you said you were going to do in 2 weeks. Um, so yeah, I'll say the same thing you said, Mike.
Okay.
Self discipline.
I think I'm gonna go with. I'm not sure if this is changing something about myself or necessarily or about my life that would change something about myself, but I guess I'm sort of like thinking about wishing I would have perhaps been like living my life a little bit sooner. it feels like I kind of was doing things for other people for a long time, and it took a while for me to be like, okay, wait a minute, what's this? What are we doing? Where are we? Who are you? And yeah, so I think I'm gonna go with that for my answer.
Okay, I like that answer. And with that, we have answered all the questions that we said we would answer today. And now you all are free. You may go. Episode over. But before we leave, does anybody have any closing statements?
Remember, people, and this is something that I grew up on. You can do whatever you want, as long as you're willing to accept the consequences that come with them.
And on that, I will also add, I don't remember the first place I heard this, but it's like, yo, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. You just have to know what that is. Because a lot of people want to do a bunch of different things, but what do you really want to do? As long as you know what that thing is, just do it. And if it works, it works. If not, there's a world of almost infinite possibility for you to find something else you want. So then do that. But as long as you're doing something, you are stepping forward in life. So that's all I can ask for you. Whether or not you do it, I guess doesn't really matter, because like we also stated in this episode, the only person you can cheat is you. And that's my closing statement. Be respectful to yourself and hold yourself accountable to the things you want.
Statement then keeps going.
Yep. Because like my closing statement was kind of a tie on to yours, so I'm like, I might as well just latch right on at the end there. Don't give it a chance to transition. Just let it slide. Like,
I can give a quick closing statement. I'll just say that we didn't talk about it today, but if you're not paying attention to what's going on in Tennessee State House, please look into it. It's I think it's a pretty historic moment in our country's history, and is something to look at when we think about what the future holds.
I like it. Not per se what's going on in Tennessee, but I like that. I like your call to it. Jalen, any closing statements?
Yeah, I'll just reiterate what I said earlier: perspective and expectations. The expectations you set upon yourself is what's going to allow you to be happy in reaching those expectations. And the only perspective in reaching that is your own. So it's all within you to find your happiness in this life.
Facts.
Look at us with some Confucius ass closing statements. Look at us.
But yeah, with that, I'm gonna give you our social media for the third time today. This is a record setting.
He's making up for last episode, people.
Yeah, I am. Not intentionally, but I am. If you enjoyed this episode, if you enjoyed the mailbag, if you would like to be a part of our next mailbag, whenever that may happen, feel free to send us questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, reviews. You can do that on like Apple Podcasts and Spotify, but all those other things, you can get those to us at _everything_and_nothing_pod_ on Instagram. On Facebook, it's the same thing, but without the underscores. You can find us on Twitter at E&N Show. That is EANDN Show. And you can also reach us at our booming email at everythingnothing_show@gmail.com. One thing I did not mention, anything you want advertised, if it's something we rock with, I mean, you wouldn't know that until you send it to us. So you got to send it to us, and we could be in contact with you about potential advertising. But with that, man, I've been looking forward to this because when Brandon did it, it just made me crave it. I'm glad to be back. So I'm gonna go ahead. I feel like I got a spotlight on me right now. This is my moment. And
better not fuck this up.
I'm gonna get the going drums. But I'm gonna go ahead and get these drums going. And thank you one last time for tuning into the Everything and Nothing podcast starring your boys. You got myself, my name is Michael. You got Brandon, you got Kyle, you got Jalen. What more could you ask for when you get us all onto a podcast together, except for the greatness you get? So, Brandon, can you do me a small favor? Play me up.